When I first saw the first wave criticism that we were giving this movie a 7 out of 10, I just thought that they were being too harsh and that once the real Marvel fans got into things, it'll be all over. I was 1,000% prepared to see an upward rising trend from there, because how could you go from a universally agreed upon amazing movie in Thor Ragnarok to 70% opening weekend the next? Surely the first batch were just a couple of tough critics, right? Yeah, I was sadly mistaken. Before I get any further, I asked if you guys could drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It only takes 2 seconds, but it would mean the world to this channel. Also, spoilers for Thor Love and Thunder, of course. Yeah, critic scores are dropping dangerously low, being even lower than the original Thor and being compared to Thor the Dark World. And what could first be seen as a drastic change of opinion on a series becomes way more justifiable when you actually take the time to view the movie. Because Thor Love and Thunder isn't necessarily a normal movie to begin with. Thor Love and Thunder is a parody movie. And while that may be wild to say for a movie that involves people losing limbs and dying from cancer, it just doesn't feel like this team went in with the main purpose of creating a legitimate 4th installment to the Thor franchise. But rather they just wanted to create a parody of the typical journey of self-discovery using the character of Thor. And I feel like the main reason for this is simply the non-stop jokes after jokes after jokes this movie forces one to endure. You see, the original Thor and Thor the Dark World caught a lot of flack for being this overly serious and for the most part boring movie that lacked structure. Kind of like how Morbius was truly viewed, memes aside. So when Thor Ragnarok came out and they gave us this less hyper serious and more relatable Thor, it was highly entertaining. They toned down the stoicism a bit and upped actual entertainment through its comedic value, thus finding the perfect balance between an action comedy, which allows for the intensity to be maintained while also saying, hey, you don't have to fall asleep 20 minutes in. Now, I don't know what got lost in translation. Maybe this is a part of a Thor franchise rebrand. Maybe they just thought more comedy would make it more successful. But all it really did was throw the balance out of place of the perfect action comedy mix that these guys had going for them. They already had it. And we were left with a movie that had a lot of good going for itself that just feels tainted in a sense from this forced comedic aura. You see, I really like what they did in bringing back the character of Natalie Portman's Jane Foster, allowing her to have this legitimate role in the movie, giving her a solid end to her story as a whole without dragging out the character until she serves no purpose. And quite frankly, she looked pretty cool while doing so. I also love the eeriness in the portrayal of Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher. I think he nailed the role and that his presentation as a whole was very good. From his costume design, the designs of his disturbed creatures of the shadows he carries, his twisted and manipulative behavior. But the movie just puts one in such a jokey mood constantly, to the point that situations such as Jane's inevitable death don't hit as hard, to the point that characters such as Gore are not taken as serious as they are built up to be by the movie. And I know I just talked about how being overly serious can lead to some comic movies' downfalls, but truly at the end of the day, what really matters is just finding that collective balance. Thor Love and Thunder had that balance, but pushed too hard, and they ended up losing it. There isn't much more to say about this movie without going into an extreme deep dive, which I honestly don't even believe that this movie deserves or could really provide. I guess I can say the visuals were spectacular. I sort of already expected that to be a given. Omnipotent City and the Shadow Realm especially being very pleasing and captivating spaces. As far as the side characters go, the Guardians of the Galaxy were just there for a second, then dipped 15 minutes in, which is fine, kind of underwhelming, but hey, they got Adam Warlock to fight in Guardians 3, so I get it. Then you have the gods from the different mythologies, and I don't know, They were just there, I guess. They didn't really seem to be all high and mighty, such as what their titles suggest they're supposed to represent. In fact, they honestly were very laughable. Like that Hercules reveal at the mid-credit scene made me chuckle a bit at how goofy he looked rather than get me excited for Thor 5. And I don't know if it was from the goofy fit or the fact that I just couldn't take this movie serious at all. But yeah, Thor Love and Thunder, it was cool, I guess.